So this is a dream I had a few weeks ago, and I call it Stargazing with my Spanish prince from outer space. So I'm in a hotel room with my new boyfriend, and this is a man that exists entirely within my dream. In reality, he's a stranger. In fact, I can't ever recall seeing him. But this man is gorgeous, and he's so exotic. And he's tall with dark brown hair and dark eyes, and he's dark complected. And there's also something very special about him. He just happens to be from outer space. As he remains nameless throughout my dream, for reference purposes, we will call him Fernando, a nice Spanish name because he grew up in Spain. So I'm assuming his family migrated to Earth when he was a little boy. I'm not sure, but he speaks Spanish. So Fernando and I are kissing and rolling around on the bed when my grandfather comes out of the bathroom. My grandfather ignores us as he walks across the room, not because he is bothered by our passionate romp session, but because he is lost within his own thoughts. Still, I'm feeling awkward as Fernando continues to suck on my neck. So we all have to get ready to go. Where? I don't know at this point. So I push Fernando away and get up to shower. Fernando is leaving with my grandfather, who pauses at the door, and my grandfather says, "Meet you in the lobby." Fernando tells my grandfather, "No, I'll meet her at her room and walk her down to the lobby." And I say, "Oh," and I reflect on how sweet Fernando is. So next I'm exiting the back of the hotel with Fernando, and the hotel is located in the middle of the woods. And it's nighttime, and the back leads out to a large clearing where hundreds of people have gathered for a night of stargazing. And I'm in a high-neck, slinky silver overcoat made out of a thin, shiny material, and the hem's short with long bell sleeves, and underneath I'm wearing a dress with a plunging neckline. I actually don't ever see the dress because I don't take off the overcoat, but I know that it is a little bit more risque under there, so maybe that's why I didn't take it off. So anyway, it would appear my outfit is much more formal than is necessary for a night of stargazing, but I suppose I'm dressing to impress Fernando. And as I look down at the ground, I realize I'm not wearing any shoes. So Fernando pauses before we step onto the grass from the patio to pull me into his arms. He wraps his arms around me, then devours my lips deep and passionately. In reality, I'm not big on PDA, but my alien boyfriend is super hot, so I entertain him. As Fernando's lips travel down my neck, I turn my head and realize someone is watching us, and he is really pissed. It's my ex-boyfriend, but in my dream, I'm still with him. And we'll call him Hans, and he's shown up before, so I'll just keep calling him Hans. Anyway, he frowns and folds his arms and stomps off. Next thing I know, I'm laying on my back, looking up at the stars. It is a clear night, so I can see all the constellations as Fernando traces them with his finger. I don't remember what they were, and I must be ignoring Fernando's commentary because I'm on my cell phone looking up the constellations on Wikipedia. Then Fernando and I stand up because we have to attend a private gathering. We head toward the middle of the field where there just happens to be a hallway that leads to a room in which the gathering will be held. And the hallway, it's just like right smack in the center of the clearing. We're just walking and it appears this opening to this hallway. So in this room, I'm standing in a circle with a bunch of strangers. It is actually the bedroom in one of the houses that I lived in as a child. We are there to expose the identity of a criminal. What this person's particular crime is, I don't know exactly, but I recall it has something to do with impersonations. That is all I remember. I'm not sure exactly what he had done wrong, and I don't know if we must be a crime club or something, I don't know. So Fernando is speaking Spanish to a few people, and I slap him on the shoulder and say, "No fair," because I don't speak Spanish, but I smile as I say it, and with a playful grin on his face, Fernando says, "You think that's not fair?" and he speaks some more Spanish. So Fernando is telling everyone how his daughter is a fraud investigator. And Fernando looks like he's in his 30s, so either aliens have good genes, they age slowly, or they are immortal. I don't know, but I'm not bothered by the fact that he has a daughter. I actually find it impressive she's so successful. Now, what the purpose of him saying that is, I'm not sure, because she is not there with us, nor does he call her. So now, as we've been standing there, a woman has been running on a treadmill right next to us. She drops to the ground and goes into labor. And we need an ambulance, and someone says, "Should someone call 911?" And I say, "No, I'll do it." So I leave the room and I run across the field to get my mom, and she's actually a nurse. And so as I'm running, I'm on the phone with 911. I see Hans, and I holler at him that we need help. And in my dream, he's a nurse. He's actually an engineer, but in my dream, he's a nurse. So Hans is still mad at me for making out with Fernando, so he scoffs, "Yeah, right," and rolls his eyes like I'm trying to trick him or something. I'm like, "There's a birth, you're a nurse, get your ass back there." So this time he listens and rushes into the hallway. And next thing I know, Mom and I are walking back to the room where everyone is at. And the woman giving birth is screaming, and I notice a patch of skin on her shoulder is really red. And as everyone is fussing about, I calmly look out the window and say to myself, "Looks like we are no longer at the Mountain Inn." Then I realize I'm naked, which normally would be quite embarrassing even in my dream world, but for some reason I find this quite humorous. I believe it might be because when I look down, I find that my breasts are much larger than normal, so I chuckle. I guess I think this is kind of funny. Okay, so next I'm in a shopping mall on my way to a store called Deb. It's a teeny bopper clothing store I used to shop at when I was in grade school. I'm there to pick up a ring, and at the counter the cashier shows me how to recognize fake diamonds. The ring has a large gold crown on it, like a royal crown. So next I'm inside a castle standing outside the doors of a ballroom. A ceremony is about to take place and there's a whole crowd of spectators around. Someone in the crowd shouts, "Open the curtains for us so we can see." And I hear another voice say, "I will, and maybe the prince will let everyone in later." So I guess I didn't want to wait around for whatever was going on because I leave. And when I step outside, my surroundings suggest I'm on a college campus. And there's a football stadium ahead of me and paths weave through the grounds and around brick buildings. And I start walking toward the stadium. I see Hans's brother, whom we'll call Franz, in the direction I am heading. I try to avoid eye contact because I fear Franz will find out I'm getting married. I guess I'm getting married now. Anyway, I fear he'll find out I'm getting married and judge me for this, since I've just broken up with Hans. In my dream, the breakup didn't occur, I just know I chose Fernando. I'm carrying a red ring box, and when I get closer to Franz, it slips out of my hand, and the ring falls to the ground. Franz starts criticizing me about my decision, and he transforms into this girl from high school, whom we will call Claire. And yes, she is the alpha high school bitch, which isn't very nice, but that's her personality. So Claire says she's ruined another pair of my shoes. Actually, my wedding shoes. She ate them. And that's the third pair she has ruined. So I get angry and I bite her finger. So next I'm back at the castle. I must have found a pair of shoes because I'm now ready for whatever the ceremony is. And I actually realize it's my wedding. And everyone is waiting for the ceremony to start. The two families line the aisle waiting for the arrival of my prince. Yes, Fernando is not only an alien and a Spaniard, he is royalty. Did I get lucky or what? So next I'm at the reception, and the lights are dim as the DJ plays music, and my grandpa is dancing on the dance floor. And it is apparent Grandpa drank too much because he is stumbling and falling to the ground. And this doesn't stop him. Every time he falls, he gets right back up and keeps on dancing. So look, I have a dream that has a moral to the story. That's it.